Hey everyone, and welcome to my craft room. My name's Julianne Richards and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from southern Tasmania. Just waiting for a very noisy motorcycle to go by, but yeah, he's gone now. Thanks for joining me. I'm just actually checking my volume. Make sure everyone can hear me. Yes, definitely can hear me. Yeah, today I'm popped into my little group to go live as a catch-up video, really. Every month or so we have a group Zoom crafting session, as a lot of you probably know and a lot of you come along to. Anyway, our group Zoom, I forgot the last time we had it a couple of weeks ago, I forgot to hit the record button, so I wasn't able to record the craft product, the projects that we made that day. So I'm making this video so that a couple of ladies who couldn't make the day actually know how to create their cards from the Zoom. So everyone else who didn't come along to the Zoom, please enjoy the video, and I hope you can make the projects too. But this is particularly for Kathy and for Jenny, who didn't make it along. This is how to put together your kits. So the kits we did for last week's Zoom, there was a theatre fold card, which is a new one to me. I've never done a theatre fold card before, and a sort of centre fold card as well. So we'll do both of those today, and hopefully you'll enjoy them. So the theatre fold card that we made is this little one here. I've used the So Ombre paper from the last celebration, which was really lovely, but you could use any paper and any decoration really. So the theatre fold is quite an unusual fold. It's a little bit intricate, a bit more intricate than the usual folds I do, but it actually looks quite nice when it's sitting up. So we've got two little sort of stage doors here that snag in behind there, and when you open the stage you get the greeting inside. You could decorate inside as well and have it as a real reveal there. But this is the one we made. It sits open like that. You can see there you've got your sort of stage at the back, or the back wall, and then the stage at the front. So that's why they call it a theatre fold. It's quite nice. It folds flat like that. So this is the one we made for our Zoom, and this is the one I'm going to be making for you today. I've decorated it with the dandelions and the little bees from the Dandy Wishes dies, and the bees are from the designer series paper from that suite as well. So I think that's quite nice with the So Ombre paper. But anyway, let's we'll get going with this one, and I'll show you how to put your kit together or how to make this card. So basically with this one you start with lots of pieces and pieces. You start with a couple of pieces of, in this case I've got the So Ombre, that is the Blackberry Bliss. So you start with Blackberry Bliss cardstock. And in the kit, and I'm only mucking around here because I have actually, there's a piece missing. I must have put it somewhere else. Bear with me for a second. There is a piece of this missing, which I will have to cut if I can't find it. No, I'm going to have to cut it. That's not it. No, that's too small. I must have done something silly with it. I need a piece of Blackberry Bliss cardstock that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/4. So the normal sort of card base size. You actually need a couple of these, and I'll probably find it as soon as I cut myself another one. So 4 1/8 by 5 3/4. So you have two of those to start with. And one of them you just leave plain like that. And the other one you actually cut a hole in the centre, and that creates our stage at the front. So I've just used the stitched rectangles from the stitched rectangle dies and cut out that sort of size in the middle there. What you always also have to do is cut a piece of designer series paper to fit the same hole. So what I do is I've cut my designer series paper 1/8 of an inch smaller all the way around, and then I've cut those both, put them both through the die cutting machine to cut the holes so they correspond with each other. You could probably cut them separately, but I don't think I'd be able to line them up well enough if I cut them separately. So pop them through the die cut machine together so your two holes line up. Then what you need to do is cut some little sort of finger holds at the edges. And so I cheated a little bit and actually while I had the two pieces of paper and cardstock together, I bought in a punch, and in this case I've just used the balloon punch. You could use anything, you could use any punch you happen to have that's got a nice round end there, and you just bring it in and give it a bit of a punch like that, just that way, and that gives you the front stage. So Jenny and Kathy, you will have that already put together for you, just like that, already cut for you, so we'll just have to pop that together. Also, what you've got are some other pieces of cardstock that are cut in this sort of a C sort of shape. And anyone who's watching this later, don't worry, I will actually put the measurements of the cards in the comments so you can cut these yourself. So these ones are actually 4 inches. I've got to remind myself now. 5.5 by 4, I think they are, yes. And they've got a sort of scores here so that they form like a little C section. And there's 2 of those as well, and they form the little stage doors. Then we've got some other pieces of designer series paper which I'll bring in a minute. So the first thing you need to do, and we'll get rid of this, is have the back of our stage there like that, and we've got our 2 sort of brackets. And what we actually need to do is attach those with some glue. So this is, you use your brackets, grab your glue, just pop some glue on this, sort of the end, smaller end bracket, and that glue's decided not to work. So just that edge, the leading edge of the bracket, bring it in and pop it onto the back of your card. And what you need to do is, because it's cut slightly smaller, just leave a very small border around the top, the bottom and the side, just the small, and then that will be like that. So that's what you end up with, that sort of shape. So have a bit of a look at that before you pop any glue on, so you know what you're doing. So you're basically ending up with the C, or the backwards C, sort of sitting on the back of the card. That's what you're aiming for. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing, but in a sort of mirror image. We're going to pop the other one on the other end, just with some glue. Bring that in and glue that one down as well. Again, same slight border, or slight gap, top, bottom and side. And when you fold that one down and that one down, they should not quite meet, but sort of not be too far away in the middle there. Just like that. And so you're ending up with sort of a weird sort of table sort of shape. If you can have a look at that, I'll just hold that like that so you can see. That's what you're actually aiming for with this. There we are. So we've got glue on here and glue on this end as well. Okay, so what we can do now is, I'm going to grab some new glue because my glue has decided to die. I'm going to grab a new one. Then we can just grab our designer series paper and pop that on. And this might be the glue that refuses to work, so I'll grab another one. So then you grab your designer series paper. You've got 2 pieces here which are cut just the right size for that front flap of your card. So you've got 2 of those, or at least you should. And we just pop those on the front. And that's going to form your theatre doors, I suppose you could call them. Just like that. Okay. Okay, so there you are. You've got your decorated designer series paper on the front there, just like that. Okay, so you've got the inside. I'll just point out, this is the inside of the panel we took out, the rectangle we took from the front of our designer series paper. That fits perfectly in the centre here, excuse my cough. So before we move on, we're just going to add that as well, just straight into the centre. Flip it 90 degrees so it's up and down, and then pop that straight into the centre like that. Okay, so that's the stage pretty much done there. Right, so let's look at the stage front here. So here we have the rectangle cut out front and the designer series paper that's been cut the same way. So you pop those together just with some glue. Now with yours, just make sure they're the right way up. Sometimes I've cut them slightly not even, but the hole should fit. It's just you may have to rotate it to get it to fit the hole. Like if I've cut it too far one way or the other. Sorry, just that didn't come out the way it meant, but there you go. So that's what you've got there, sort of little theatre front. What you need to do now, and these two strips here that you've got, these are sort of 1/2 inch wide pieces of Blackberry Bliss. These are going to form the brackets. So I'll show you the original card. These form the brackets which sort of hold the stage in place. So you've got sort of like these sort of belts almost that hold the back of the stage. I'll take the stage out. You can see there it's like a belt sort of around the front there, that around the back of that holds the stage in place. So that's what these are going to be. So what you need to do to make sure they're the right size and they're not too tight and not too loose is grab the stage of your back and the piece of designer series paper that you've just put the paper on. Grab your little belts and just hold them in place so they're straight and fold them around. So just fold them. I haven't scored them, so just fold them so that they match the edges of your stage door, so to speak. So you've got that sort of shape there, and by folding it on there you're going to know it's exactly the right size to fit, so your stage won't wobble too much or get too tight. Then we'll do exactly the same thing with the other one. This is a complicated card. I know that after we tried to all do it the other day. I can see Jan and Sally are on, who did it with me the other day. It was a little bit more complicated than our usual, but I think it's quite nice. I think we decided as a group, didn't we, ladies, that it's a sometimes card. Just a sometimes card. Okay, so you've got your two brackets folded now, so they're folded in the right size. Just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of those two little tabs that we've made. And all my glues have decided to give up the ghost now. It's a good thing I've got some more coming. That one's far too much glue. Okay, and turn over our theatre front so you've got the back of it showing. And just put your two little brackets just there. So just on that sort of plain, that sort of back, so you can't see it from the front, so you don't want to be able to see it through the gap. Just sort of fit snugly down the side. If you see what I mean, you turn it over, you can't see it, but it's there, just in that gap there. And then we'll do the same with the other one. And again, just in that little gap. Just like that. Glue everywhere now. Okay, so we might just let that dry now, so you can see you've got your two belts on either side of your Blackberry Bliss stage front. Probably Blackberry Bliss is a very difficult colour to actually see, so hopefully you can see in the light what we've done. Okay, there's not much else to this one. We're just going to sort of decorate the front, so we might put all that away. We've got the front is actually decorated with the dandelions and the little bees from the Dandelion Wishes suite. You've got all these little bits and bobs here, so you've got a full dandelion there, some dandelion leaves, and a couple, hopefully two of the little bees. There's one little bee there, and the other one's gone for a bit of a hide, so there's the other one. Okay, so we might just put these dandelions together. So the big dandelion will go down the right hand side, And so you just layer him up with his other little bits of dandelion just to give him a little bit of 3D effect. So there's a medium-sized one which glues into the centre, and then there's a next size down one, and then there's a baby one as well. We just bring that one into the centre as well, just right into the centre. I'll just pop the glue on there this time. All these glues have decided to give up the ghost on me. They can all go in the garbage. And number 4. Oh, goodness me. This one looks better. You can tell you get all your glues run out all at the same time. Okay, so there's our dandelion made, sort of with the layers of his nice little 3D effect happening there. I have seen some people curl those leaves up, so if you want to do that, that's nothing to stop you from doing that as well. So the other one is just, should have just 3 pieces. I've only got 2 here. I knew I should have kept everything together. Should be 3. Where's the other one? But it's not, so we'll just go with 2. There should be another 3rd. See, I can't even get my own. Should have put it together in an envelope, but I didn't, so I thought I would be good. Okay, so we're just going to pop those. So with the other dandelion, you should have 3 pieces, so you add those together to make the second dandelion. Since I've only got 2, I'll just do 2. Okay, cool. So that one's going to be on the other side as well. Okay, so we'll bring back our stage now because it looks like our little brackets should be dry. So our big dandelion's going to go on that right hand side. So we'll just pop a little bit of glue up the top. So don't overlap the edges of the card with your decoration because you won't fit it into your envelope, but it will overlap the centre stage, so to speak, so you will be able to see it. You can see it there, but you can't see it either the front or the side or the top. So he's just going to sit there like that. His little stem is a little bit long, so we're just going to trim that up. Then we've got the 2 dandelion leaves. I'm just going to pop those on either side of him as well. Just like that. It's very warm in here and everything goes very, very, very runny, which is the glue goes very runny and takes a while to dry, and it gets warm. I suppose people in warmer climes get that all the time. We don't get it so much down here in Tassie. Okay, so our other dandelion, which is missing its 3rd piece, but it's okay. It goes down here in the bottom left-hand corner. Again, don't come over the edges of your card, top, bottom and side, but it will overlap into the centre a little bit. Okay, so then what we do is just grab some glue on our little bee. We'll put one little bee just hovering around the dandelion there. Just pop him sort of fit him under there, so it just looks like he's hovering over or just landing on that dandelion. And then another little bee, and he'll hover into that one, just like that. So we've got the 2 little sides of our card decorated there with our dandelions. It looks a little bit untidy down the bottom there, but that's fine because you've also got a sentiment box that I've cut for you, which should be that one there. We're going to pop that on, we're going to pop a sentiment on there. So I'm going to use from Peaceful Moments Life is Better with a Friend Like You. Hopefully that fits that one. Actually, that's a bigger piece. That's the piece I'm going to use. So anyway, a long narrow sentiment box which you're going to trim down to the right size. So just stamp that sentiment. There we are. And I'm going to trim it down and pop it on the front like that. We use some dimensionals. There should be some dimensionals in your pack. There we are. Just cover up that sort of bit sort of messy end of our flowers just with a sentiment just like that. Okay, so there's the front of our stage all decorated with our lovely sentiment. So we'll bring back in the stage. Now you should also have a little sentiment box or a little tag which will fit just inside there like that. So pick your sentiment that you want to use for that. So we've got Life is Better with a Friend Like You, and then I'll just pop a very simple happy birthday on the inside, again from the Peaceful Moments, just onto that little tag, whichever one you've got. Some of the poor ladies from last week actually had to go and cut their own because I'd forgotten them. Thank you for being so patient with me last week, ladies. Wasn't my finest hour in card making. We'll pop that inside if we can find the glue that was working. If it wasn't that one, I'll chuck that out. Just in the centre of the stage, just like that. You could pop some flowers or some, further sort of decorations on the inside as well. Entirely up to you when you're making yours. There we are. This glue is really fluid. It's moving a lot more than usual. Okay, so that's that one made. So what now we do is we grab the little side stage doors of our stage, and you can just, because we've measured them exactly, they should slip. The stage door should slip perfectly, she says, hoping for the best, into the little belts that we've made. She says hoping for the best. Yep, they did. It's just a little bit tight. I might have needed to make it a little bit looser. So that's okay, that sort of slips through there okay. And we make sure we've got it up the right way, yep. And we'll slip this one in there. There we are. And there is our stage all done. So there's that's the first card from our Zoom. So hopefully you've got everything in your kit to do that one, or if you've got, you weren't part of our Zoom, you've got everything at home to make that one. So as I say, I will put the measurements in the comments after I finished the video, so you can make that one at home. So when you finish, when you're giving it, or what you want to put it in an envelope, you just close it up like that. The stage door closes and it fits flat like that, and then it opens just like that, and that will get looser with opening and closing, but that's fine. That's sort of holding really well, and it sits up like that. So it's like that on your shelf. Okay, so that is card number 1 from the Zoom that I forgot to press record. We'll get on to the second card now. I'm just going to throw some of these glues away. They're refusing to work for me. Okay, so the second card was a Hydrangea Haven card, and this is what here's the little kit here. So it's in Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather, and what you've got is a fairly large piece of Gorgeous Grape, which is 4 1/8 by 5 3/4, and another piece slightly smaller of Highland Heather just there. So we'll layer it up as we go. So the piece of Highland Heather goes onto the gorgeous grape, and so you've got a fairly small 1/16 of an inch border all the way around there. Okay, then you've got a couple of narrow pieces of designer series paper, and these are from the Hydrangea Haven bundle or collection. So just get them the right way around, and they fit perfectly, or they should fit perfectly, on either end of your Highland Heather. So just leave the same sort of border, top, bottom and sides, and just pop those on at either end. She says having trouble with her glue again. I might just go to snail adhesive in a minute. Okay, so you pop this one on the other end, just like that. Okay, so you've ended up with a gap in the middle, which we're going to cover over in a moment with designer series paper at either end. Okay, so then we've got in your kit, you've got this little sort of half card here, and that's actually going to sit smack bang in the middle of our the card base we've made, and it sort of covers over the gap. So eventually you're going to have, it looks like it's a continuous piece of cardstock. So we've got another piece of Highland Heather, which is going to sit on the front of that, little half card. Just like that. And then another a piece of this lovely designer series paper, which will sit on the front of the Highland Heather. Just like that. Okay. You've got a piece of white. We should have a piece of white. This is another thing that a few people were missing the other day. A piece of white that just sits on the inside, so that's for your message, so you can write on that, just like that. And my dog started barking, it must be dinner time. There we are. Okay, so now we can put this inside. So we're going to cover over that gap in our designer series paper, just by popping this little card on there. So you want it the same distance, the same gap either side, so that's just fine. And you just cover over the fact that your designer series paper doesn't go the whole way along. It just sort of saves using too much designer series paper, because we love to save our paper, don't we? Okay, so you've got that. So when this card sits, it sits like that, sort of sits open on its sort of front, its little front edge like that. Okay, so now we really just need to decorate the outside. You should have a little hydrangea that I've cut for you, the little silhouette. This is from the Hydrangea Haven or Hydrangea dies. So this is in old olive cardstock, and you just pop a little bit of glue. It doesn't have to be a huge amount, just a little bit of glue around there on the back of this little veiny leaf die. And you just pop that on there. So it just gives those leaves a little bit of extra detail. I just put too much glue again. Story of my life today. So we've got that there with a little bit of 3D effect on the leaves there. And you've got your flower head. And this has been cut with the dies again, but also just straight from the designer series paper, so it's another use for your paper. So just pop some glue on the back. Now little bumps and ridges on the die should match to your flower head, so just turn it round till you get them both to line up, and that's where it should go. So just line up the bumps and ridges on your flower head with your flower. And as I said on the day, I think this is one of the prettiest things out of the mini catalogue. I really love the hydrangea, as you can tell, because I have used it quite a lot this year. Okay, so you have a little square frame, and this is using the stitched squares, and I've just basically taken the largest stitch square and the next from largest stitch square and cut one on the outside and then place the other one inside and cut out the insert just to form a little frame. You pop that just on your card, just like a diamond, just like that. And we'll bring in some dimensionals and glue or attach our hydrangea to the card front. Using some big ones there, but I might have to swap to some little ones further down. Let's see. Excuse me, got a bit of a croaky throat. Which is not something you say lightly these days, is it? Need a glass of water. Okay, so I'm just taking the backs off my dimensionals. There we are. I'm going to put our hydrangea there, just across our little frame, just like that. Okay, so we've got a little stitched sentiment box. Now it fits perfectly with the sentiments out of the Hydrangea Haven. There's a lovely little one here that's I appreciate all the things you do, or everything you do. What is it? I appreciate all the little things you do. So this makes a lovely, this will be a lovely Mother's Day card, I think. I reckon my Mother's Day swap ladies will probably get a couple of these in there as their happy mail. So we'll use that. Yeah. Again, with a couple of dimensionals. And onto our card. There we are. Good thing with the lines on this paper, you can line up and make sure you're straight, and that's pretty straight. So there we are, that's quite sweet. We'll bring in some of the pastel pearls, which are also my favourite for the year. There's some lovely, gorgeous, great ones here which we're going to use. And we'll just pop those. You should have these in your kit as well. Just pop those around however you like them. I tend to just look for a space, look for a gap somewhere that needs filling, and put a beautiful pearl in it. And there we are, that's card number 2. So they're the 2 cards we did on our Zoom last Sunday that I forgot to press record. So specifically for Kathy and Jenny Osmond, who didn't make it on the day. Those are for you. So hopefully you can follow those instructions and pop your kit together. Yeah, so I'm still I'm working out what to do for our next Zoom, but it probably will be mid-May, I reckon, by the time we get we get the mailing sorted and all those sorts of things. So there are our 2 cards from last Sunday. Hope you enjoy those. I'd love to see your versions of them if you'd like to post them on my page or in group. It'd be lovely to see them. So hope you enjoyed those. Hope you give them a go, and I hope anyone who was interested pops along to our next Zoom and joins us for all of the fun. So thanks, guys, and I will talk to you all later.